Hello, this is a special update video for St Giles and St Margaret's churches, and it's being done in response to the question which is of course being asked with increasing frequency: when are we going to be reopening? And it's a question that I had also been thinking about for quite some time when the government announced its COVID roadmap for England as a whole back on February 22nd. And it struck me as I was listening that that broad approach of reopening gradually rather than just a sudden big bang approach might be a good one for churches to be adopting as well. Now, you may be aware, I'm sure you probably are, that different local churches around the country are taking different approaches to this question. And the reason for that really is that there's very little direction from a national level, either from the government or from the Church of England's House of Bishops. Simply the advice to be very cautious, but of course interpret that as you will. So what I wondered about was an approach which was broadly in line with the government plans in other areas of society and applying that to church worship as well. So this idea was taken to a cross-benefice group consisting of the wardens and the clergy and the directors of music, and we had some input from other experts that we're lucky to have within our congregations as well. And we tweaked and revised it and finally took it to the respective PCCs for their approval, which they gave this week. Now, all that waffle is out of the way. What does the plan actually consist of? Well, you can have a look at the full plan. If you've seen this link to this video in the email that's gone out, then you'll see the link there also to the plan. If you just stumbled across this on YouTube, then the link will be in the description of the video below. So please do take a look at it. But very simply, as a summary, we're allowing ourselves in-person services of up to 6 people in step 1, 15 people in step 2, 30 people in step 3, and an unlimited number in step 4. Now, I'm deliberately here using the steps rather than particular dates, because the dates are subject to change. Obviously we hope they won't be, but they may be dependent on the data that the government receives and analyses in terms of the spread of coronavirus within the country at large. But obviously what we're hoping for, of course, are the earliest possible dates. In other words, that means we'd be able to go up to 15 people at a time in services from the 12th of April, up to 30 people from the 17th of May, and worshipping with no restrictions on numbers at all from the 21st of June. Now, what are some of the implications coming out of that? Well, the first thing to realise is that our main acts of worship in both churches, the principal acts, the Sunday morning services, are going to be online only during step 1 and step 2, as they have been since Christmas. However, there will, alongside those online only Sunday morning services, they will also run alongside a programme of in-person services of Holy Communion. During Holy Week there will be lots of these because each one can only have 6 people attending, so there are going to be many of those services in both churches throughout the week. In step 2, which will, as I say, hopefully be from the week beginning April the 12th, each church, St Giles and St Margaret's, will each have a midweek service and a Sunday kind of afternoon service as well. All of those services will be simple spoken services. There'll be no music, no live streaming, no preaching, just a chance to come together with others, to come to our church buildings, to have time of prayer and to be able to receive the sacrament in person. Also in step 2 though, we're hoping that those live stream services that we'll still be having on Sunday mornings will be able to have more people in the choir, that we'd be able to start having a small choir perhaps if we are allowed to. We're still waiting for guidance on that. And for those taking part in the services, doing the intercessions, doing the readings, will be able to be there in person, and so it'll be much more kind of cohesive as a service that's coming from the church. In step 3, things will get a lot closer to normality, and hopefully, according to the government's current plans, that will be in time for Pentecost, which this year falls on the 23rd of May. Step 3, 30 people will be able to attend church. The main Sunday morning service, which will still be live streamed for those who can't make it in, will for the first time have a congregation. But the priority will still be to make sure that anyone who wants to is able to receive the sacrament in person each week. So there'll still need to be other services of Holy Communion other than the Sunday morning one as well, but we'll address the details of that slightly closer to the time. By this stage, also the other good news is that by step 3, the government guidelines allows people to gather together socially outside with groups of up to 30 people, which means that 30 people are attending the service, they'll be able to meet together outside, hopefully have some refreshments perhaps, and be able to talk to one another and catch up after those Sunday services. So that's, and obviously hopefully by that point the weather will be nice enough that will actually be something we would want to do. But hopefully by the week of the 21st of June, all those restrictions, or in terms of limits of numbers at least, will be lifted, and we'll be able to worship together and socialise. I mean, there may still be some restrictions. We'll have to see what the government says in terms of distancing and things. We'll know about that close to the time, but hopefully by that point we won't have to have limits on absolute numbers. With Holy Week just around the corner, you have seen in this week's newsletter, we've put together an online programme. So let's say all the main services of Holy Week will be taking place online without congregations, for people to be able to participate in from home. But if you do wish during Holy Week to come along to a small, quiet service of said Holy Communion, there will be plenty of opportunities in both churches to be able to do so throughout the week. And it'll be possible to book those from Monday, this coming Monday. So please have a look at the website for that. And if you've not seen the link from our newsletter, then again that link will be in the description of the video as well. Finally, just to kind of conclude really, you'll be aware, no doubt, that within the country as a whole, there have been lots of different attitudes to how fast the country should be opening up, how quickly restrictions should be lifted, and similarly with churches, there's been a variety of views of when and how churches should reopen and start things up again. Obviously, I really hope that the plan that we've put together is something that you're happy with. If you are disappointed, all I'd say is just please know that the clergy and the wardens and the PCCs are all doing our best. We're almost certainly failing, as we always do, because we're human beings, but we're doing our best to act in a loving way, both to one another within our church communities and also to those in the wider communities who are around us as well. So that's the kind of background to the plan. I hope that makes sense. If there are questions, please do feel free to drop me a line, but that's the plan which we have adopted in both churches and that we'll be using going forward. I hope to see as many of you as possible, as soon as possible. God bless.